now, as we enter this time of meditation, of prayer, but most especially this time of gratitude, if comfortable, we close our eyes. We allow our bodies to relax and enter that sanctuary of our souls that is always present, always filled with the light and love of God. That sanctuary that all of that love shines forth from us into our every action, every word, every thought. And again, as we relax into that space, we recognize those things that we are grateful for. The past, those things that have led us to this very time and place, that have made us know and grow through the experiences that have made us who we are. And as we think of those past things, we know that they were intentional for our growth as a person and as our growth as a soul. And we can be so, so thankful for all of those who have come before, who have taught us all the hard lessons and all the easy ones. Those that have been easy to love and those that have challenged us to look higher, to be the bigger person. We are truly grateful for those lessons in the past. And as we think of them, we bless them and we let them go. For they are no longer needed as lessons. For they have led us here to this time, this place, and all the opportunities our soul has provided and has drawn to us. And we are so, so grateful that every step of the way, there have been those that guided us, that led us, that pushed us to accept who we are as a child of God, as a person of earth, and a joy of living. And as we enter into the silence, we recognize all that we have lying in front of us to become who and what we are in this present moment, deep, deep within, in the silence. And we know that we have been called to be the best of us that we can possibly be. We're reminded of Whitney Houston's song, "One Moment in Time," where I can be all that I'm meant to be. And we know that in our hearts, we celebrate, we salute, and we are grateful that Trish has followed her path and that she has come to be with us and help us in our walk with God. And so we go from this place, this time, this family that we are, to embrace our lives in whatever path we are led. And we are so grateful for all that is ours to share and express. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen.
Where we are living our life from is going to have a huge impact on what happens in the life that we're living. Where we draw our power from is going to have a massive impact on how powerful we can be. In unity, we believe that God is the allness that we are within. Not, I say it all the time, I'm sorry, but there are new people here, so they haven't heard it before, so act like you haven't heard it before. Not some super old white guy sitting on a cloud playing with us, messing with us, manipulating our things that we do and say so that we can either be punished or rewarded. See, that changes everything. Your belief of what God is changes everything about what God would be doing with you and with your life and within you and within your life. If you believe that God is somewhere out there and that you have to behave in a certain way or show up in a certain way in order to please God so that God might then give you something that you can use to live with, feel that. Right? We're always going to be reaching for something out there to help us, to guide us. We're always going to feel that we are not empowered to make our decisions and decide the life that we live on our own. You can feel it in, I want to stand so that I can see every face, and there's just not anywhere to do that. So pardon me if I walk back and forth. You get to do this, okay? Yeah. Where God is for you changes everything about how God can empower you. If you've got to reach somewhere else out there to find it, then you are constantly going to be dividing your power. But if God is the allness that you exist within, and by the way, in your life, God is the spirit that animates you from in here, oh my gosh, that's a whole different dynamic. Then you reach in for that giant voice. You're not looking for it somewhere out there. Oh, please, somebody give me a voice. What you're doing is saying, this voice that I will use in this world, in this life, my choices, my actions, they start in here. And the God that I seek to help me decide which are the right ones to do begins in here. So then I'm not going, please, somebody out there, please save me. I know that if I need to be saved, the person that's going to save me is in here. The power that's going to save me is in here. And I don't need to go anywhere to find it. I just need to stop, take a breath, bring my awareness to the Godness within me, find a moment of silence and go, okay, God, all right, I need direction. I need help. I need whatever it is. And then we're reaching in here. And it wells up from within us. And we can feel pulled or tugged in a certain direction or another. We can feel that uprising from within that says, you got this. Now, that doesn't mean things aren't scary. It doesn't mean things don't go wrong. It doesn't mean that we don't say the wrong thing, not be able to find words. Doesn't mean any of that. What it means is that when something's happening and we're stumbling, we don't have to reach anywhere but within to find the power to right the wrong that we feel is happening. Such an important distinction. We have the power within us to live so far beyond what we often give ourselves credit for or the ability to do. I'm so all over the place in my thoughts this morning, as you might imagine, because the second this service is over, I am going to grab the shoes, which Krista, thank you so much for facilitating that. If Krista asked you to sign my shoes this morning, I said, I felt like I was back in high school. Will you sign my yearbook? I still have my high school yearbook. Every once in a while, when I'm feeling a little less than my best, I go back and read, who was this girl? Because she's so different now. She's been through so much. And so thank you all for signing my shoes, because that was yesterday. Last Sunday, I was saying all of us in our graduation tomorrow will be in white. You're not allowed any color, except we get to choose our shoes. And so for a week and a half now, we have had a text thread with all 16 of us graduates going, and the text thread has been lightened up with everybody's shoes. And so many of the women have the most beautiful, delicate heels. I am not a beautiful, delicate heel person, as you might have noticed. I would fall right off this stage and flat on my face. So I have to have flat shoes. It's just me. And so all these beautiful shoe pictures were going around. And last Sunday I said, well, I'll probably end up in rainbow Converse. And before the service started, Mel and Krista were looking for shoes, and Tracy was reaching out to Larry because he's a Converse person, and Tracy, at the end of service, she said, now see, here's the thing about plugging into our power. You feel into the thread of something. Trish needs some cool shoes or whatever. And then we play around with all these different ideas and we step into possibilities. And somewhere during the service, Tracy got the flow of it that I didn't get. And after service, she comes up to me and she goes, wait a minute, I think we're missing the point here. And she said, what you need is just buy a white pair of shoes and we'll color them. And then we'll all sign them, and then we get to walk across the stage with you. And I was like, oh! The heavens opened, the voice became big. I was like, Tracy got it. So I ran right after service. I'm like, Mom, I got to go to Walmart. So we stopped at Walmart. We found the canvas shoes, we bought them, and then I thought, Monday morning I'll just take a little bit and I'll do the colors on them, then that way it's done before service and yada yada. 4 hours later. So colored the shoes, and I've been bringing them to all of our events this week so that I could try to get some people to sign them ahead so that we would have a prayer of getting everyone to sign them, and then Krista to run them out front and seal them. Dave says before service, he's like, I hope you'll get through the TSA check-in with they'll be looking for the bottle, or for the aerosol can, But I have a 2.5-hour drive from here to the airport, to my son's house. He's going to drive me to the airport, and then I'll be at Unity Village about midnight tonight. And we do these things there called fireside chats in the hotel. At the lobby of the Unity Village Hotel, there is a fireplace with couches around it, and we all sit out there till God only knows when, disturbing the front desk people while they try to do their work and keeping them up through the night shift. And so there will be a reception that I will not be attending because I'll still be in the air, but I will get there in time for someone saving me a doggy bag and a soda, and we'll sit up at midnight tonight and discuss, oh my Lord, we're here, right? Yeah. Oh my heavens, what are we using our power for? What are we using, and how divided do we keep our power to keep us from doing things like this? See, I tried for almost a decade to finish the path to ministry. I became a certified spiritual educator, and I was like, yay, that's probably all I'll ever do. And they said, you could be a licensed Unity teacher. And I said, really? Because I didn't believe that about me. Somebody had to come and tell me, you'd probably make a good licensed Unity teacher. And I thought, could I? Well, guess what? We're the only ones that will ever give us permission in the could I, would I, should I. We're the ones. The God within us, if we take the time to lean in and focus in and ask, we'll get the yes. Now, I've shared this story with you before. I did an event with a beautiful woman named Ianla Van Zant. Those of you who might know her, she's a spiritualist, she's a motivational speaker, friend of Oprah, and I got to do an event with her, with my late husband, and she said to me, what do you want to be? And I said, well, I'm a teacher, and she said, what do you want to be? And at that point, I had just recently heard that I think I'd like to be a minister, but I heard it that way. Could I maybe please, sir, may I have a ministry? And I was so afraid of what it might be. And Ianla said to me, a teacher, yeah, you're already that. What else? What else? What else? And she said, I want you to get to that answer for me, that when you think of the answer, it makes you so scared that a little bit of pee comes out. Ministry! I'm still so scared that a little bit of pee comes out. And that was about 17 years ago. So it's been a long road. When I say it's been a long road, I mean it's been a long road. When I became a licensed Unity teacher, I thought, this is awesome, this is great. And that still small voice, that's the thing, it's a still small voice. It's not going to yell at you. It's not going to yell at you. It's going to make the suggestion. It's going to lay out the possibility for you. And it's up to you to say, I can. I don't know how in heaven's name it's going to happen. But I know if that pull is there and that pull keeps coming, I can. What will I do with my power to see if I actually will? Right? Because we can keep ourselves so divided and so focused in so many different places at so many different times. And I don't know about you guys, but the voice in me that says, who the hell do you think you are? I'm going to say it today. That's a very loud voice for me. Who are you to stand up and decide that you can lead a Unity congregation? Who are you? You still get upset when somebody moves your cheese. If someone turns the toilet paper the wrong way, you still need to fix it, Trish. Who are you? Who better but somebody who is very much in touch with the fact that they don't have all the answers so that we can find them all together? Can I get up in the morning and say, ha, Reverend Trish, without the ha part? Because I'm still in the ha part. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow I will walk across that stage and you will all walk with me. And next Sunday we will celebrate it here. And I hope that you can come, and I hope that you can bring friends. And friends of mine will be here, some I haven't seen in a very long time, and some that I've been through hell and back with. To watch this thing that got put off no less than 5 times. I was all ready, my application was all done, and my daughter stepped off a curb and shattered her leg. And 4 months after that, she was able to drive again with rods and pins and her children taken care of by grandma. And then I tried again, and my husband had quadruple bypass surgery. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll try again. And then one of my mentors at Unity Village said, I need to ask you a favor. Would you wait? I said, really? And she said, we're about to redesign the educational path for Unity, and I would really, really, really like you to be in the first class through. Guinea pig. That's me. And I said, all right, well, we'll see what happens. And then my husband went and died on me. And life didn't make sense for a little while. And I had my children and my grandchildren, and I owned my own business, and those things kind of made sense to me, but the bigger picture of, what do I do? Do I have the power to stand back up and do the next thing? Because I had everything I wanted in just the way I wanted it. And I had the love of my life. What do we do with our power when the world says you are powerless? See, it's our choice. Even in that moment, even in his leaving, it is my choice what I do with that. He's free. He hasn't got a trouble in the world. He gets to go and be and do whatever he wants, and he's out of the body, this prison of a body that he had had. I get to decide what to do with that. And for a while I floundered, and I went to work, and I did what I needed to do, and Unity kept calling. And in the interim, I had actually, shortly before he died, I had actually stepped back from leadership in a church. So I was not even affiliated at that moment with a Unity. And a friend of mine called and said, I love how Sonny's giggling. A friend of mine called and said, are you ready to speak yet? Can you take your voice back? Because I have a congregation that needs to hear it. And I said, I don't know. And so what I did, you guys don't know this part though, is what I did was, well, you know what? Let me speak at another church. So I went and I spoke around Florida at different Unities, and my friend kept saying, are you ready yet? There's a church that needs to hear from you. And that time I said, all right, why, Hank? Why? What do they need to hear from me? And he said, well, the only minister they've ever had just passed from cancer, not long before Tim did. That's my husband. And his wife is there holding that place together. And you, Miss Wife, who just lost your husband, couldn't you please go and talk there? And I did. And Tina and I, before service even started, we were kikiing over here, and just had a ball meeting one another, and we were telling our war stories from our journeys to our husband's passing, and I felt so much power walking in here, and Joe was teasing me about my car when I drove up, and I felt like I was a member of this congregation before I even walked in the door, I think. Yeah, right? And Andy and Tim met somewhere out there in the ether and said, you think this would be fun? So they get to watch from the expanse and see what we do with our power. Tina made a promise to Andy to stand in the space and in that liminal space and to hold this place together. And I made a promise to Tim. He always said to me, "You're gonna be a minister." And I said, maybe. And 2 years before he died, he made me a stole. My husband used to sew, and he made the most beautiful stole. And next Sunday, I will wear it on this stage for the first time as minister. And And I would say about every third time I walk through those doors, and only every third time because there's a lot of time that I'm a little bit, I'm ADHD. And about every third time I'm present enough to say, "Thank you, Andy, for sharing this place with me. Thank you for letting me stand here and go through the journey." When Andy stepped up to be the leader of Unity of Sebring, he wasn't a minister yet either. And so I'm so tickled to be able to take a similar journey to Andy. And I hope to honor his legacy and honor this place and honor the energy of what he started. I hope it every time that I step up here. And I'm so grateful to be here. And I'm taking you all with me tomorrow. Today, I'm running out the door as soon as service is done and driving to West Palm and getting in there. See, we have the power. We have the power within us to do whatever we can dream. And it's probably not going to look the way you think it is. This doesn't look anything like I thought it would. I was in leadership at Unity of the Palm Beaches for 26 years. And I thought if there's ever going to be a stage I'll stand on in a church I'll lead, it'll be that one or it will be none. And here I am, 4 years in, almost. Yeah, actually, it's been 4 years. I have been up here 4 years, yeah. Oh my gosh. Where did that go? So tomorrow, the ordination ceremony will happen. It's not just me and the 15 others that I am walking across the stage with. There is Unity. I have gone through a school called Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute, and that is the main school of Unity. There is also Unity Urban Ministerial School, and there is also the International School. There are Unity ministers from around the globe that will be ordained tomorrow. And so all of us will be there, and it's going to be a really long ceremony. I just went to my granddaughter's graduation, and you're like, when you have a child in it, it's worth sitting through. If you don't, it's endless. And so I will be your child in a graduation ceremony tomorrow. If anybody feels like watching it, it will be streamed. I've made the streaming thing here. Guys, I am going to put these down here, and I have zero attachment to whether you watch it or not, because it's going to be really long, and I will be the only person you know in it. Okay, so if you are curious enough, though, the stream is here. It'll be streamed live on Facebook. And I want you to know that you have the power. It ain't just me. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "What lies behind you and what lies ahead of you pales in comparison to what lies within you." You can do whatever that is that's pulling you. You have the power. And just for kicks, we've done it before. Some of you don't know this because you haven't been here for it, but we got into a conversation about this week. We have the power literally within us to run things. We've heard of an electrical circuit, right? Science teacher Trish for a minute. It's what I did for a long time. The electricity within me, the power within me, if all I have to do is connect the circuit. Close the circle, you guys, to the godness within you. And when you connect the circuit, you have the power to run things outside your body. You have the power to do things you may never have thought that you could do. I'm a living example of that. I'm about to fly to Unity Village, Missouri, and get revved up. I can't believe it. I'm not going to probably believe it for a good month and a half after it's done, right? And when you connect the circle, when you connect the circuit, you have the power to do anything that it is on your heart and in your purpose to do. If you keep getting a no, yes, there can be a time where you go, you know what, maybe that isn't it. Keep checking in. Keep connecting the poles, and you'll get the yes. And there will be the time where the energy flows, and you will do amazing things. Now, when we do the peace song, we are going to hold hands, and we are going to share our power through all of us, and together we are going to turn this on, okay? Just because it ain't just me. When I come down, when I touch someone else, and I want to do this with Steve, and I got to come over to Sonny, because Sonny was my sign from God that I was supposed to be here. So if I connect with Sonny, and then Sonny and I connect with the divine, then we share that power together. Both of us share it and make things happen that neither of us by ourselves could. So as I say, when we share the peace song today, we're all going to do the power of us multiplied by all of us. Thank you all. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Thank you for loving me in all my ridiculousness. And thank you for holding me in your heart of prayer as I fly to Unity Village and get back here by Tuesday. So next Sunday, we can party. Okay? All right. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Please visit www.unityofsebring.org for more information, to submit a prayer request, or to donate to our ministry. We hope to see you again very soon.